Hello, this is Ron Ryan. Welcome to Fixing the Online Sales Process, a narrated presentation about the causes of online customer attrition. Let's first look at online sales within the context of all the consumer touchpoints. We start with online sales because it is quite often the start of a 2- or 3-step purchase process. Many buyers qualify a product or service online and then proceed to buy or take delivery of the product through a call center or a store. The larger and more complex the product, the more likely it is for this 2- or 3-step purchase process to exist. So what are the friction points in the online sales process? Moving from top to bottom. Right traffic but wrong products or services, or vice versa. High shipping costs relative to the cost or price of the good. Difficult customer information requirements for the purchase. Inconsistent look and feel at the order processing page. An overall confusing sales interface with poorly articulated funnel. That is, it's hard to figure out how to get to the buy button. Incomplete, missing, or hard to understand calls to action. That is, how do I do what I want to do on this website? And finally, poor follow-up to non-buyers. Sometimes non-existent follow-up to non-buyers. Is there a good match between the customers coming to your website and your products and services? Are certain customer segments not converting? Worse, are certain customer segments losing you money? Do you know the average lifetime value of a customer in each segment? How high are your shipping costs relative to the cost of goods that you sell? In 2010, Forrester Research conducted a study of shopping cart abandonment. The study found that 44% of purchasers surveyed had abandoned their shopping carts because shipping costs were too high. According to Wharton marketing professor David Bell, a free shipping offer that saves a customer $6.99 is more appealing to many than a discount that cuts the purchase price by $10. Obviously, consumers are becoming irrational about free shipping. Difficult customer information requirements for purchase. Does your website make it easy for customers to buy? Before you say yes, is there information customers need to make a purchase that they may not have readily available? Think about a user in the office or someone connecting from home late at night. Here's an example. B of A Management developed data in 2002 showing high percentages of online abandonment in the online banking enrollment process. Conventional wisdom said people who abandoned were coming back. The data said something different. Of those who quit, and 60% were leaving the process, only 69% came back and tried again. B of A learned that the root cause was a request for the bank account number. No one could remember it. They changed their process and asked for Social Security and PIN, 2 numbers everyone could remember. The upshot? An improvement in yield from 40% in 2002 to around 60%. They also reduced call center calls dramatically. By 2004, calls were down 350,000, saving the company millions. A frequent contributor to the abandonment problem for smaller businesses' websites is the use of landing pages or checkout pages which don't necessarily match the rest of the website. This creates an inconsistency which causes users to lose their trust and confidence in the site and leave. Keep your look and feel consistent, especially in the checkout area. Always think in terms of micro conversions. That is, think of all the little steps that it takes to get to the big step of making a purchase. Reduce the excuses that cause customers to leave. Reduce the number of pages in the purchase sequence. Reduce the number of questions on each page. Another way to increase conversion is the use of third-party logos. By those we mean the Better Business Bureau, Trustee, VeriSign. Each of these logos can help to build trust, both at the time when the consumer lands on your site, as well as that golden moment where they're deciding whether or not to make a purchase and give you their credit card information. Finally, consider using the logos of some of your suppliers if you have brands on your site that are well known. This can help conversion too. Incomplete, missing, or hard to understand calls to action. Find someone who doesn't know you or your website. Ask them to do the single most important activity you want users to do on your site. It could be to buy something, make a donation, or join your organization. Then, watch them as they use your site. Record their reactions. If you do this multiple times with multiple people, you will begin to see patterns, things that cause everyone to stumble. Those are the things that you most need to fix. Do so quickly. Now, to make the exercise even more interesting, let's have that same user, the one who tested your site, have him or her go to your competitors' sites. Ask the user to do the same tasks you just asked them to do on your site on each of the competitors' sites. Is the requested task easier or harder to do? Does the user prefer your site or your competitors' sites? What elements do they happen to like about each of the sites? Now, you don't have to build this capability for yourself. Several websites provide this kind of service. Our resource section carries a list of several. Digging deeper into Forrester Research's 2010 study of consumer shopping cart abandonment, we found that the reasons for shopping cart abandonment were mostly related to two key issues: price and timing. Segmenting those customers then by preferences, there are those who are definitely not buying, and then there are buyers who are not buying from you yet because they're still shopping. What percentage of those customers do you think actually come back to the site? Do people who abandon shopping carts ever return? System vendor CY Inc., that's SEEWHY Inc., tested returns of people who abandoned a shopping cart on a major online retail site and then came back to make a purchase. With no remarketing, only 8% returned and made a purchase. The timing of those returns appears on the x-axis of the graphic to the left. For its B test, CY Inc. added remarketing into the mix. They found that the overall shape of the graph was similar, but with big increases in sales. The key finding? remarketing has the biggest impact within the first 12 hours. If you can email people immediately after they abandon the shopping cart, you can double or triple the number of purchases made by the abandoners. What are the best times to send follow-up emails? First, immediately after the purchase. Then, 23 hours after the first purchase attempt. And then third, 6 days and 23 hours after the cart was abandoned. A best practice is to send an email from customer service, not sales, with a photograph and a description of the abandoned shopping cart item. Provide an easy-to-use link that allows a user to return to the purchase process. The email needs to have a service tone and be customized for the purchaser. It should include what the customer was shopping for. A/B testing is a great way to tease out the impact of different wording, design, and web executions. This A/B test involved testing a control page, one with drop-down categories, versus a page with pictures for each category. The pictures version won hands down. To summarize then, fixing the leaks in the online sales process is about measuring, watching, putting oneself in the site user's shoes, and then using what you've learned to change how you do things. The best way we've found to understand customer profitability in a single number is to use customer lifetime value. It's a measure that includes acquisition cost, conversion, customer retention, and customer repeat purchases in a single present value figure. Once you've calculated customer lifetime values, you'll be in a position to segment your customer base. Which segments are most profitable? Which segments are least? Where do the profitable customers come from? What are those profitable customers' preferences? How can you adapt your offer to these customers' preferences? And how do you keep profitable customers coming, and how do you handle the unprofitable customers? Where do you send them? How do you reform them to become profitable customers? And once you've developed these findings, you're going to need to communicate them to the rest of your organization. You're going to need to build consensus in order to implement the prescribed changes. And once you've made the changes, you're going to need to measure again. Because there's no rest even for successful change managers like you, you're going to need to repeat this process over and over as technology, your customers, your markets, and your organization evolve. This concludes our deep dive presentation on how to improve the online sales process. Be sure to check out some of our other presentations on how to improve your telesales process, customer service and fulfillment, and how to drive more repeat purchases or memberships in your organization. Thanks for listening.